Hello, good morning everyone. I am Rama Guerrero, volunteer researcher of the Mayor Duterte for President movement. Let me talk about our initiative called Brigada OP. Brigada OP Duterte, first president from Mindanao. By OP here, we mean Office of the President. Why is this necessary? Actually, let me tell you that right now, the office of the President is unfit for Mayor Duterte as first president from Mindanao to occupy. You know why? Because in the office of the President are two long-standing issues that were unresolved, left unsettled by two past occupants of the office. These issues are the flag issues and the country's name issue which were raised by Muslims to our government for about more than 50 years now. They have not resolved the issue. Now, we thank Mayor Duterte in coming up with a decision to use the flag of the Philippines as his campaign symbol. However, we would like to ask him to pause a little because the flag that he is using now is A-Trade flag, is a flag that is rejected by the Muslims. So much so that they went to war because of that. If you will remember, the Zamboanga Siege was triggered by their desire to raise their own flag in Zamboanga because they reject the flag of the present flag, that is the 8th raid flag. Now, other than that, our present flag is also broke, may sira po, may depekto. The National Historical Commission of the Philippines in their infographics has revealed that until now, the fourth color of the flag, of our flag, that is yellow, does not carry any symbolism at all. Unlike the red, it symbolizes courage and bravery to die fighting for the defense of our country. The blue symbolizes noble ideals and nobility. The white on an equilateral triangle symbolizes purity and equality. There is no symbolism for the flag's yellow. You know why? Because of the first president of the First Philippine Republic, Emilio Aguinaldo. You know, in the Declaration of Independence, Emilio Aguinaldo omitted the actual flag's fourth color yellow when that is written in the Declaration of Independence. I don't know the reason why. I can only maybe speculate a little because at that time maybe only there was really nothing nice to say about the flag. The color yellow, I mean. Yellow was the popular symbol for cowardice at that time. So maybe Emilio Aguinaldo decided to omit the yellow in the flag. So it turned out that our flag, as described in the Declaration of Independence, is only tricolored, red, white, and blue. That is still written in our present Constitution. You can read that in Section 1, Article 16, 1987 Constitution. There is no fourth color yellow in the description. Only three, which conforms with the tricolored flag of the United States of America. You know, America, We have only red, white, and blue. There is no yellow. Now, that history seems to not to agree with that omission of Aguinaldo. As we all know, history came forward and gave the correct, no higher meaning of yellow. At EDSA, yellow became the symbol of active, peaceful, non-violent means of resolving conflict. This was our greatest gift. This was the Filipino people's greatest gift to the world in discovering and using active, peaceful, non-violent means in resolving conflict. And it was also an instrument of unity. As we all know, this means was used. Active, peaceful, non-violent means was used to break down the divisive Berlin Wall. And also, it was by that means that the godless communism was toppled in Russia. Now, these two issues, the flag that we now have, needs to conform with our present pledge to the flag here. The pledge to the flag. That is, look, you can find this in Chapter 1A, RA 8491 series of 1998. This is presently what is being recited by all school children. It says that, ako ay Pilipino, buong katapatang nanunumpa sa watawat ng Pilipinas at sa bansang kanyang sinasagisag, na may dangal, katarungan at kalayaan, na pinakikilos ng sambayanang makadiyos, makatao, makakalikasan at makabansa. These three core values, character defining values, constitute also our national motto according to the same law, RA 8491 series of 1998. Because of that defect of the flag, we want to update that flag, that A-trade flag, so that it will have a symbol for these four character-defining values. In so doing, we discovered that we can have it by adding one ray. So it becomes 9-rayed Mandob Filipino flag. Mandob meaning to say it is something that is in accordance with the rules and regulation, Islamic rules and regulation as to matters of documents, legal documents, flags, insignia, badges, or whatever documents or what they call this, heraldic items in government. Mandub means it is Islamic, acceptable in Islam. All right. Now, what is our justification? What would now be the yellow? So we said that the yellow would now symbolize active, peaceful, non-violent means. Do we have the right to do that? Do we have any logical reason to do that? We answer yes. Because at present, our A-trade flag actually carries two symbolism, primary and secondary. The primary symbolism for the 8 rays of the present flag stands for the location, the first 8 provinces, Manila, Cavite, Laguna, Batangas, Bulacan, Tarlac, Pampanga, and Nueva Ecija. Those were the first 8 provinces symbolized by the 8 rays. we often overlook that there is a shadow symbolism, or we can call it secondary symbolism with that 8 rays. It also symbolizes combat mood or violent mood. You remember, the symbolism is first 8 red flag, first 8 provinces that revolted against Spain through violent means. That was Andres Bonifacio's combat mode. That is against the Constitution, because in the Constitution, it says there that we renounce war as an instrument of national policy. That is the first reason why we have to change it into the symbol for yellow being symbol for peaceful, active, non-violent means. That happened at EDSA in 1986. Incidentally, we have come through, if you look at it, maybe it's quite, what they call this, it's quite history's joke upon us, that the second means that was used was actually put forward by, it's put forward by Ninoy Aquino, but actually he was using the name Marcial Bonifacio. So we have here a 2 Bonifacio mode of attaining freedom. Andres Bonifacio's freedom through combat mode or violent means. And then we have Marcial Bonifacio or Ninoy Aquino using the what we call peaceful, active, non-violent means. Now, do we have other reason that would justify our replacement of Andres Bonifacio's combat mode? There is, and that is because Andres Bonifacio's combat mode lasted only for 6 months. It only lasted 6 months because while our independence was declared in June 12, 1898, it just went up to until December 10, 1898, when our country was sold by Spain to America for $20 million installment. By selling us, that is, land, air, water, ocean, including the people. We were sold by America, by the Spaniards to America for only $20 million. According to what I have read, that amount would now be equivalent now to $1 billion. All right. Now, I have said that Andres Bonifacio's violent mood or combat mood lasted only for 6 months. After fighting for 18 months and expending more or less 34,000 lives, that was what we get. A mere 6 months independence. While the peaceful, active, non-violent means introduced by Marcial Bonifacio or Ninoy Aquino has lasted for 30 years now. Imagine that. That means it is the fruit of the peaceful, active, non-violent means far surpasses the combat mode of Andres Bonifacio by as much as 60 times. 30 years over 6 months. It is 60 times longer now. And it's still counting. Alright. So that is our justification. That this time we have to fill in the gap. That yellow in our the fourth color of our flag shall symbolize peaceful, non-violent means of resolving conflict, which is very relevant during this time. Now, we have another advocacy which would be, now, this would settle the Muslim quest for a flag symbol of their belonging, of their membership in our sambayanang makadiyos, makatao, makakalikasan, and makabansa. Why? Because the 9 rays of the flag shall now symbolize makadiyos. How in the world will that symbolize makadiyos? Well, to Muslims, the 9 rays shall symbolize the ninth holy month of Ramadan in their Hijri calendar. So when they are really makadiyos, 30 days fasting, just to be close, they are closest to God at that time. To the Christians, the 9 rays as a symbol for makadiyos is a symbol for the most popular, for the most unique form of prayer this country has, which is the 9 morning masses that is celebrated all throughout the land in preparation for the celebration of Christmas. It's all about preparing for the celebration. Now, all the 9 rays shall symbolize makatao. Why? How can that be possible? The 9 rays become symbol for makatao when it symbolizes the 9 decades, the 90 years. That is from 1896, Philippine Revolution of the Katipunan, up to 1986, that is 90 years, wherein Filipinos discovered the humane way or the makatao way of resolving conflict, that is peaceful, active, non-violent means, which is now 30 years or 60 times longer than the combat mode of Andres Bonifacio. Now, it is makakalikasan. It symbolizes makakalikasan through its closing in of the rays. The rays are closed in no longer 45 degrees apart, but 40 degrees apart. Only a very minimal movement of 5 degrees makes them closer to have to accommodate the 9th ray. Imagine this is like a round table. These are the chairs surrounding the round table. It is just a matter of rearranging the table so that one more chair could be accommodated to symbolize the makakalikasan. What is makakalikasan here? It is makakalikasan when we change our paradigm, the way we relate with what we have to unite, because our country now is in trouble. This is a time to close in our ranks in order to be strong in resisting the plot to destroy our country territorially, morally, through the corruption that is all around us, and including crimes. Now, makabansa, how can this symbolize makabansa? It also commemorates, it also stands for the 90 years or 9 decades when Filipinos discovered their power, that theirs is a republican democracy and that sovereignty resides in the people, all government authority emanates from them. It was the will of the Filipino people that prevailed during EDSA. Remember this. After the snap election in 1986, what was proclaimed by the Batasan Pambansa as winner was Marcos. But then people power did not agree to that and instead paved the way for Cory to be our president, the first woman president. When it was found out that there were confessions of cheating done by Marcos allies. Notable among them was Senator Juan Ponce Enrile, who admitted that he practically cheated. He was responsible for the Dagdag Bawas, cheating Cory by as much as 300,000 votes in northern Luzon. Now, so just by adding 9 rays, or just by putting in the new and correct historical meaning for the yellow, that is peaceful, non-violent means, we derive from that our right to put in the 9th ray to symbolize EDSA, the location in 1986. Not the EDSA now that is a traffic jam to the max, but EDSA that was the place wherein Filipinos wowed the world, when the Filipinos became the darling of the world. By that action, the world wanted to be all to be Filipinos. My dear brothers and sisters, we are coming out at this time because we want to respond to the call of Bishop Emeritus Geogracias Iñiguez of Caloocan for all Catholic faithfuls, among them our very own candidate Mayor Duterte, to factor in the presidential candidate strategy to address the root cause or core of the Mindanao problem. My dear brothers and sisters, the root cause or core of the Mindanao problem is Muslim alienation and lost sense of belonging in our Christian-dominated society, and they have articulated that as early as the 1960s, more than 50 years ago, by raising those two issues. Like a riddle, our government failed to resolve those two issues, the flag and our country's name. And it so happened now that because of the new pledge of the flag, we need to have a flag now that has as symbol for makadiyos, makatao, makakalikasan, and makabansa. That is the meaning of the 9 rays in the flag. Now, we are asked, how can we do that now? Well, we thank Mayor Duterte for using the flag. That was what was said at the beginning. But let us remember that actually Mayor Duterte had a very good record of loyalty to the flag. Or shall we say, using the flag to drive home his point. You remember, Mayor Duterte did a great flag act. That was 2 decades ago when he burned the flag of another country in order to protest the execution of DH, Filipino OFW DH in Singapore. Now this time, we only have to update the Duterte Great Flag Act. What do you mean by update? Let us, to make this official, to make the government listen to us, pay attention to what we have here, is to do an update of the Great Duterte Flag Act. How can that be done? It's like this. All the 182 barangays in Davao City will will keep or put it on safekeeping. We will not raise that flag. Instead, we will use this replica of this flag with the 9 rays. We will not raise it, but we will, during flag ceremony, we will only hold the 2 boys or 2 students will hold the replica, and when we recite the pledge to the flag, when we arrive at the point, when we mention makadiyos, makatao, makakalikasan, makabansa, one of them shall point at the 9 rays. Maybe only the National Historical Commission of the Philippines will come over and listen to us, because we need to change our flag. We cannot use a flag that is not acceptable to Muslims. Now, we will proceed. The second issue that the Muslims have raised against our government is the issue about our country's name. There was an attempt by a sitting president to resolve this issue, but it failed. This is the issue about our country's name. You know, Muslims reject our country's name, Pilipinas, and our Filipino identity that is derived from the name Pilipinas. The reason is that it has a colonial baggage. The colonial baggage that we identify is that it is a name that is taken from, or that honors Pilipi, the first 6 letters. Pilipi is taken from Philip II, which they dislike and even hate. We Christian Filipinos honor somebody whom Muslims dislike and hate. Why do they dislike and hate Philip II? Because he was the worst persecutor of their faith ancestors in ancient Spain. They recall that. And they can never accept honoring somebody who was the greatest enemy, the worst enemy of Islam. So that's why they reject Filipino identity, and they accuse Filipinos of being infidels because we honor somebody whom they believe is an infidel. Now, how do we resolve that? We discovered happily that there are 2 sides of our country's name, Pilipinas. Like a coin, it has the the crown side. Sa mga hantakiro, patayo hari, no? The head and the tail. The head side now that is present is Pilipinas, taken from Pilipi. The root word Pilipi, from Philip II. The second side, pwede rin Pili-ina, which happens when we drop the second letter P and the last letter S. What will be left is Pili-ina. Now, Pili means chosen or chosen by Inang Maria. This one is chosen by Philip II. Inang Maria here is equivalent to Mariam to the Muslim. In the Quran, Maryam is the title of their Surah 19. Maryam, the mother of Prophet Isa, or Jesus. Now, you will see that without changing, keeping intact the name Pilipinas, we only shift our honore or honore from Pilipi into Piliina. We honor somebody who is acceptable to Muslim. An acceptable role model to the four core values that makes up the Filipino, the character definition of the Filipino. Makadiyos, makatao, makabayan, makakalikasan. You know, my dear friends, we are not aware, we have not been told, no? But Philip II can never be makadiyos. You know why? Because he was excommunicated, no less by the Pope Paul IV, for looting Rome and challenging the authority of the Pope. So he was excommunicated by the Pope. So here we are, a Catholic country, honoring somebody who is excommunicated by the Pope. That is a great anomaly. No? And a good thing to think now during this Easter Sunday celebration. We have to change. We have to have a new life, a new way of being Filipino. Let us start turning away from Philip II and go to become Piliina, chosen by Inang Maria or Mariam in the Holy Quran. Now, my dear friends, I am sure that I know that there are many Christian groups or sect or churches who reject Maria, Inang Mariam or Maria. Well, what I can tell you is this. I am the discoverer of this new possible honore. Now, I am sharing you, I am authorizing you to look for your own ina. If you do not like Mariam, acceptable to the Muslims, scripturally, then go, search for your own ina. It may be your own mother, who could be a role model for makadiyos, makatao, makakalikasan, makabansa, and lastly, acceptable to the Muslims scripturally, meaning to say, it is written in the Holy Quran as well as the Holy Bible, so that it will be acceptable also to the Christians. Let me tell you this. This is a very nice discovery because we have been named after Philip II for the last 471 years. We were named after Philip II in 1545. Count that now, 2016, it will be 471 years. And by the way, let me tell you this. Actually, the one who named us was not Magellan. It was the ship captain of San Juan de Litran, Captain Bernardo de la Torre. He named our country. He named the island that he saw in Limasawa or somewhere in southern Leyte, probably in near the birthplace of Mayor Digong, Pilipinas, Islas Filipinas, in honor of Prince Philip. He was not yet a king then. He was only a mere kid. All right. So, here we are. We can retain the name Filipinas. Keep intact. We keep intact our Filipino identity. We will still be Pinoy and Pinay. But we have a new honore. We will be chosen by Ina. Maria. As if it is coincidental, no? If we stay here, remain with Philip II, this becomes true. NAS. NAS means no authentic sovereignty. No authentic sovereignty. If we remain being honoring Philip II, honoring foreigners, we retain our colonial mentality, then we will never have authentic sovereignty. Now, if we go there, Piliina, you put down the P and the S, it means puro salita. We are told there, or we are instructed, that we can be Piliina if we stop, if we drop being Christians only in name, but not in our deeds. Being Christians only in our words, but never in deeds. We are very unchristian. For example, how can we justify Christianity to be alive in an administration that is now deceptively telling us to be matuwid na daan when there is corruption all over the place? There is no Christianity there. That is a sad commentary. No offense meant. Now, when we turn away from Philip II, we stay away from the Philip or patriarchal side that harbors, or shall we say, that espouses master-slave relationship. And because of that relationship, we can always expect that they are the masters. We ordinary Filipinos will always be treated as slaves. Actually, if you are going to analyze, we have not really changed. Our Christianity is only very superficial. The primitive pagan social system of our country before Christianity ever arrived is still the same. During the pagan times, we had two kinds of slaves. The aliping namamahay and the naaliping sa gigilid. Today, that is very clearly seen. We have the aliping sa gigilid, which are the OFWs. I am told 6,000 of them are leaving the country to look for work abroad every day. And then the aliping namamahay are those dependents who are left behind. No change. Christianity has really failed. No wonder the Muslims are telling us that it's time that we should change maybe our faith. Let's go become Islam. Because Christianity has failed. My goodness, that is not correct. Reina side, we go matriarchal. We'll try change from patriarchal side into Inang Maria side or Mariam side, which is a caring. No longer master-slave relationship, but a relationship of parents and children. That we belong to one family. Now, this is the haram side, meaning to say it is something Muslims cannot accept. And it is the reason why we never have become really a one united nation. Wala tayong pagkakaisa, lalo na dito sa Mindanao. And it has created so much misery and death, suffering among our people. So, let's try and go to the Mandob side. That is acceptable to Muslims. Acceptable also to Christians. And even acceptable to the Lumads. Because everyone, there is no one among all humankind that is born, not born of a woman called Ina. Anybody? Everyone, lahat tayo po ay ipinanganak sa mundong ito ng isang babae na ang tawag ay Ina. Now, let us stop, put an end to the 471 years of superior-inferior relationship by honoring an excommunicated King Philip II. And briefly, immediately shift, because we cannot leave something vacuum here, void. We have to fill in something into a better kind of relationship that is bonding. I call it bonding relationship, wherein we treat each other as brothers, not the way Rojas has accused the Muslims of being the mananakop. There is no mananakop. The Muslims are not the mananakop. They are our brothers. Actually, they are our brothers in faith, because they are also descendants of Abraham or Ibrahim. Now, my dear brothers and sisters, I missed kanina yung the flag here. That flag, we call it Mandog flag, is also the basis for the tri-people Filipino flag. By enhancing the flag's meaning for the triangle, or the equilateral triangle, three equal sides, white triangle. One side is Christian, the other side is Muslim, another side is Lumad. Tri-people, Christian, Muslim, and Lumads. Now, because of we now have 9 rays, three rays for each side could be equally distributed. 3 rays. Now, 3 rays here, when distributed to the 3 sides, shall stand for liberty, freedom, equality, and fraternity. That is among Muslims, among Lumads, and among Christians. Now, other than that, the Mandog flag is also a stepping stone, not only for the tri-people Filipino flag, but also for our federal flag. It becomes a federal flag when the 9 rays are apportioned, 3 rays, 9 rays when apportioned 3 rays for each of the 3 stars, symbolizing Luzon, Visayas, and Mindanao. When 3 rays are directed to the 3 stars, the 3 rays shall stand for the 3 branches of government: executive, legislative, and judicial. Meaning to say, when we go federal, Luzon shall have federal states, each having their own executive, legislative, and judicial branches. So with Visayas, so with Mindanao. So there is a tremendous enhancement of the symbolism of equality and purity that is now presently symbolized by the equilateral white triangle. That means that the Mandog 9-red flag, acceptable to Muslim, serves as the key to our having a tri-people Filipino flag and a federal flag of the Republic of the Philippines. My dear brothers, right now, our government is engaged in a proposal to change P into F. So from Pilipinas, it will become Filipinas. The reason given by the KWF, KWF means Komisyon ng Wikang Pilipino under Chair Virgilio Almario, is that And that is, they are going to do that in order to commemorate our adoption of F, a foreign letter, into the Filipino alphabet. So from P to F. So I can just imagine the tremendous expenses that will be involved. Can you imagine just by changing the P to F, how much money do you think will be spent in order to change the P into F in our money and all other documents? And by the way, but also I would really like to talk to Chairman Virgilio Almario. If this becomes F, it would still be wrong spelling, because the correct spelling of Filipe in Spanish is F-E-L-I-P-E. My question now is, when is he going to change the whole name, the entire name? Filipe, that's not. Go back to the time when we were named by Bernardo de la Torre, Islas Filipinas. Because the correct spelling of Filipinas is F-E-L-I-P-E. Now, those are the two issues, the flag and the country's name issue in the office of the President. My dear Mayor, there are two other issues along the pathway to your going to the pathway going to the office of the President or in Malacanang. Two issues. The first issue is the sword of Damocles provision of the Constitution, which is risky and dangerous for you. Because if this is not corrected, there is a danger that you will only be president for 2 years. You will not finish the 6 years term. The second issue along the way, which we need to discuss in a group, I wish we can really discuss this among lawyers, is the issue of the provision that allows plurality presidents. We have to stop it. The magnitude of the platform that you are presenting when you become president cannot be done by a plurality president. You need to become a majority president because you need a full political capital to do so. Imagine, you change the structure of government, you cannot do that easily. But if you have that majority presidency, you occupy the office as a majority president, which is what is correct. You know, it's really wrong to have mere plurality president. Because in the legislative, in the passage of law, what decides whether the law is passed or not is the majority. And in the Supreme Court, they decide in bank majority. Why is it that when we select our president, only plurality? Look at this. President Ramos became president with 23% vote. He was not president of the 77% of the voters. Erap, he must have been elected with 40% vote. He was not the president of the 60%. Gloria Arroyo, with the help of Garcia na yan, she only became president with 33% during the election in 2004 versus APJ. And then Noynoy, the present president, he is still a plurality president. A plurality president is a weak president. We cannot afford to have that. And we cannot afford to have that with Mayor Duterte. So, thank you, my friends. And I thank you very much for this opportunity.